You know that feeling, right? You're staring at a really tough homework problem, or maybe you just get curious about how something works. We all go on these little quests for information all the time. So today, let's build your personal toolkit so you can become a master navigator on that quest. Let's get right into it. See, it almost always starts with a simple question, doesn't it? Something just like this. You need to find something out, and your first instinct is to turn to the internet. But as we're about to see, the most obvious path isn't always the best one. This little search for a recipe, it's the perfect place to start our journey. Okay, so when you're dealing with something bigger than a recipe, say a big school essay, you can't just wander into the wilderness of the internet and hope for the best. You need a map. And that's our first step on this quest, knowing exactly what treasure we're looking for. And here it is. This is your map, a research question. And I'm not talking about a vague idea. It needs to be a super clear, totally focused question that's going to guide every single step you take. Without this map, believe me, it is so easy to get lost out there. So this is the really crucial part. A good research question actually confines your search. It kind of puts blinders on you, but in a good way. It helps you ignore all that distracting, irrelevant stuff and focus only on what you truly need. This is going to save you a massive amount of time and effort. All right, map in hand, it is time to explore the territory. See, information isn't just hiding in one place. It's scattered all over a vast landscape of what we call sources. So let's take a look at our options. And wow, the landscape of sources is incredibly varied, right? You've got the whole digital world of the internet, the physical world of books and encyclopedias, and you even have human sources, like experts you can actually talk to. And a great central hub for pretty much all of these? The library. Now, the internet, it's fast and it is vast, but it's also kind of wild. You really have to learn how to spot the reliable guides. So look for websites from official organizations, government authorities, or any source where you know for sure that the information has been reviewed by experts. And you have to be super wary of unverified sites or ones that have a really clear bias. And that is why libraries are such a powerful tool. Think of them like your base camp for this whole quest. They are so much more than just books. They've got archives, digital resources, and most importantly, they have expert staff, librarians, who are literally trained guides for your information quest. Okay, so finding sources, that's really only half the battle. Now we need the most important skill of all, learning how to tell the difference between real treasure and a trap. This means becoming a source-critical detective. In other words, you have to learn to question and evaluate everything you find. This is the very first question every good detective should ask. I mean, think about it. Some facts, like the boiling point of water, well, they don't change. But other information, like statistics or news reports, gets old really, really quickly. You absolutely have to know what kind of information you're dealing with. So here it is. This is your essential toolkit. Just 4 simple but super powerful steps. First, never ever rely on just one source. Second, always try to verify the information you find. Third, check the date it was published. And fourth, whenever you possibly can, hunt down the original source of the information. Using several sources is so key to getting the full picture. And hey, here's a pro tip for you. Next time there's a big news story, check a few different news sources and just look at the headlines they use for the exact same story. That alone can tell you so much about their different perspectives. It's a really quick way to see a more complete version of what happened. And the date. Oh, the date is so critical. Can you imagine using 10-year-old statistics for a report on current social media trends? It would be totally misleading, right? For topics that change fast, you have to find the most recent sources you can get your hands on. Okay, so you've explored the landscape, you've become a detective, and critically evaluated your sources. You've gathered this awesome pile of high-quality information. So, what's next? Well, now it's time to assemble your answer. Remember that map we started with, your research question? Well, it comes back into play right here. You're going to use it as a filter. Go through everything you found and select only the pieces that directly help answer that one specific question. Everything else, you just set it aside. We are almost at the end of our quest. There is just one final, very honorable step. And trust me, it's not a chore. It's a really crucial part of showing respect for all the work that came before you. Okay, this is a habit you absolutely have to get into, especially for schoolwork. As you gather your info, keep a running record of where every single piece came from. This is called citing your sources, and it's how you show respect to the original creators and let other people follow your trail. And don't forget, this applies to everything. It's not just for books and websites. If you interviewed someone to get their perspective, that person is a source, and you absolutely need to cite them in your work. Which brings us all the way back to the beginning, doesn't it? We've learned all these powerful techniques for finding great information. So how should we have actually handled that simple search for Grandma's biscuits? And there it is. It's the perfect example of one of our key rules. Always try to find the original source. The internet might have 1,000 biscuit recipes, but there's only one true original source for Grandma's recipe, and that's Grandma herself, of course. So there you have it. You've got a map for asking the right questions, a guide to the whole landscape of sources, and a toolkit for telling good information from bad. The only question left is, what are you going to set out to discover?